it's just a quick one. I'm going to be very quick here. I've been watching the video and I've just looking for the comments afterwards. The scientist. I recognise him from other comment sections and other places. And he's a known troll. I know he is. But I thought I'd have a play. I like to play now and again. Just point out some fallacious reasoning and stuff like that. I don't get into debates or that because it's fucking pointless. You know what I mean? Just put a bit of information out, point out the fucking things, and I just leave. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter what it is here. Because in the video he's talking about where the rockets go up and then they like curve back around again. But then when you look at like the trails in the sky, they're straight and all this other stuff. Anyway. So we'll just leave that a minute. Let's put that. No, you missed the point. According to the laws of perspective, a sunset on a flat Earth is impossible. Well, first of all, I've not put this. I should have put this, but thinking about it now, I should have asked him what preconceived ideas and strawman fallacy, propaganda, disinformation, mainstream media, maps and models does he associate with the rhetorical device loaded term flat Earth? What flat Earth? The laws of perspective say that everything above eye level stays above eye level and everything below eye level stays below eye level, no matter how far the object is. When you stand at the beach and see the sun touching the ocean, the sun is below your eye level, no matter how far away it is. So either you believe that the sun is actually sinking into the ocean at this moment, or the Earth cannot be flat. Well, like again, what do you mean by flat? But I've not put that. I've just put, what kind of sophistry was that? You said, and I quote, and I put down there about staying above eye level and below eye level. I said that it's just you go and watch, learn Euclid's optics, geometry of vision before bashing your gums about something you know nothing about. Like I said, citation, please. If it's good enough for them, when we say something, you know what I mean, or I'm not a we. I shouldn't be saying we when I say something, and they go citation, please, and then I give them the citation, I give them the link or whatever, from where I got that information from or whatever. Yeah. Good enough for them, it's good enough for me. Please prove your claim. Or prove your affirmative claim by using natural or applied science and tangible substance. And I've just given them a quick thing here about what sophistry is. You can pause that and read it. That it's basically, I'll read it quickly. Reasoning that appears sound but is misleading or fallacious is known as sophistry. In metaphysics, Aristotle defines sophistry as wisdom in appearance only. So it appears to be wise and wisdom, but it's not really under the surface. Use of clever but false arguments, especially deceiving. And the law, and this Oren Nelson's come back with at the scientist, the laws of perspective which you clearly ignore or fail to grasp. Well, we know they ignore it and they fail to grasp it. They have to, otherwise their religion's down the pan. Yeah. And according to them, depending on where they are, which way it'll spin down that pan. Is in that. So you claim that my explanation is wrong. At what point? What is the right explanation? Well, I don't want explanations. Explanations are fucking pointless. Show me. Yeah. But I put. And he's put something like, where does it say that something disappears bottom up? Well, the ground ramps up to your eye level. Because it's your eye that makes the visible horizon line. So anything past that visible horizon line is going to appear to be cut off. Because you can't see through the water. It's not hard, is it, really, to be honest? At what distance does this happen? Why bottom up? Why not top down? Or sideways? Well, what's going to block it from the sides? You've only got the sky and the ocean. Or the ground. Or whatever. What's going to block it from the sides? The Earth isn't a fucking corridor. It's not got walls, a ceiling and a floor. Has it? And why not top down? What's it about top down? So I've just put shifting the burden of proof fallacy isn't measurable proof of your affirmative claim. And I'll just give him a quick thing here. You can pause it and read it if you like, but it's always on the individual making an assertion or proposition. Yeah, we know this anyway. But why is the burden of proof on the individual makes the claim? And then there's this bit here, you can pause it and have a read if you like. What I've put. And then this Paolo Salucci comes back with, are you aware that these kinds of arguments that you use are only a few years old? They are non-existent as scientific concepts. They've never been published on a scientific magazine. Why would you publish something on a magazine? I think it meant to put in a magazine. But we know trolls and that and stuff like that. They do spelling mistakes on purpose. It's part of their MO. Yeah. Have no mathematical description and no empirical demonstration. Have been fabricated by P-Brain, this is whose video it's on, and his friends, because they needed these kind of new, never heard before physical laws. Well, they're not physical, are they? They're optical. It's all to do with geometry of vision. It's optics, it's not physical. It's optical. That don't make any sense and are universally labelled as flaspective. So I suggest you go and learn Euclid's optics, which is the geometry of vision, before bashing your gums about something you know nothing about. It's making you look unintelligent and weak-minded. Saying that geometry of vision, or as you like to call it, flaspective, and I put perspective in brackets, isn't real. Go and ask the Optical Society of America if it's real, as they translated Euclid's work in about 1935. A few years old. Try over 2,000 years old. OMG, Euclid of Alexandria came up with geometry of vision and the mathematics and diagrams behind it over 2,000 years ago. He's the father of geometry and his work is still used today. Have you never heard of Euclidean geometry and non-Euclidean geometry? You know, Euclidean geometry are parallel lines being to converge among other things. Like parallax, which is also to do with geometry of vision. Let's put something about you need a distance of 69 miles for having a divergence of just 1 degree between plumb lines. It exceeds the need for construction. No, it doesn't. Not when you, what do you call it, building a canal hundreds of miles long, or when you're building a bridge over 100 miles long, and you're having to be square and plumb. Yeah. You build each section square and plumb, and then they meet in the middle usually when they're building bridges. Let's put something out there. You're saying plumb lines do not make true square buildings, and that it's close enough. It seems that these, along with water, are construct fine on a level plane we all live on. Can I face palm myself? Because he's saying here that it says that he knows that this Verrazano Narrows Bridge takes into account the Earth's curvature for the 2 central towers. No, the towers don't take into account the Earth's curvature. They point them inwards and curve them inwards like that, so it looks like they are, but they're not. It's to do with load bearing. So then when the weight's on the bridge, they've got a bit of leeway, a bit of give. It's not to do with curvature. Oh my god. They don't take the curvature into account when designing the bridge. No engineers ever took into account the curvature of the Earth when designing a bridge. More sophistry. More lies. Yeah. It says they're not parallel to each other. They're 1/5/8 of an inch farther apart at their tops than at their bases. There was another bridge with the same feature that I don't remember. These are the only ones, to my knowledge, for which there was the need to take into account in Earth's curvature, which has this to do with the content of my initial post. Flaspective is simply a fraud, and you have bought it. So he's still saying that flaspective is simply a fraud, and you bought it. But I've told him here that Euclid's optics, and that's over 2,000 years old, and everything else. See, it just shows doing it on purpose. Yeah. Oh look, we've got Sean Hawkins here. Another one that I put down here. Look, he put down that San Francisco. Ask people. Sean Hawkins. Well, we know who he is. You know, we all know who Sean Hawkins is. Yeah. Ask people in San Francisco if the Earth is always still in a moving. So false. That's a false equivalence fallacy argument. You're claiming that the earthquakes are caused by the Earth spinning. And he's put down, what's all he's back here and he's parallel. Earth spinning cannot be felt, period. Well, why not? Understandable phenomenon on a spherical Earth where the crust is 0.08 to 0.8% of the radius. Well, you're assuming the radius for a start. No one's ever proven the radius. So that's an assumption you're making there for a start. Prove the radius. Prove it. You can't. Right? And you're saying the Earth's crust's this thick or whatever, this much percentage. Right? Prove it. They can't prove it. It's another assumption. Part of the movement inside the Earth are caused by the tidal forces relative to the gravity of the Moon and the Sun. See, now he's bringing in other things and magical pulling forces and stuff like that. Saying the Moon and the Sun move things around in the inside the Earth. So he's making so many assumptions there, so many beliefs. The Bible doesn't say anything about spinning either. I wouldn't know about that, as I'm not religious. Never have been. So stop trying to use the guilt by association fallacy. Flat Earth is a religious cult. No. Flat Earth is not a religious cult. What type of cults try and empower the individual to discern for themselves and see through all the sophistry and the logical fallacies and everything else in everything? What kind of cult is trying to get people to be individuals and stuff like that? Yeah, it's the globe that's the religious cult. Yeah. Maybe I'm going to bother with him. I might just say, well, ad hominem attack for the calling me a moron, name calling fallacy, but I'm going to leave that now. I think I'm not even going to fucking bother with him because he's an idiot. Like I said, this isn't what they call it. Oh, there's another one here. Look. You haven't seen any photos of the edge, have you? You know what I mean? Oh my god. Photos of the edge. What we saying? Another idiot. You know what I mean? It shows you the mentality of people and the idiocy of people. Yeah. Right. Anyway, I'm done. Like I said, this isn't a hit piece or anything like that. It's not like that. It's not personal. I'm just pointing out their fallacious reasoning, the sophistry. I'm pointing out that they ain't got a clue, and they're just ignoring anything relevant, confirmation bias and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Deliberate ignorance and stuff like that. Fallacy.